Whew. What's going on? What's going on? Pardon my briefly late arrival here. I was playing with my StreamYard, as you all can see, just playing around with it. Went on and did a little upgrade. They gave me a little special here. So season is over. We've seen a couple games. We see everything is really interesting going on with the landmark right now, college football. We've seen Florida State with the backup quarterback and all squeak right in there. Got to get them the playoff look. You see Washington give it to Oregon again. I wanted that to happen so bad. Not so bad, but so bad. With Dan Lannon, the way he was talking so big on polar Colorado Buffaloes, I definitely wanted Oregon to lose. He's like cocky on cocky. He called Coach Prime out for being cocky, and he's cocky. Picking on them little polar Colorado Buffaloes and running up the score. I just couldn't see myself around this man just go on all the way and ruin Washington. But Washington played solid. They definitely represent. It's good to have somebody who's going to represent the Pac-12 on a year going out. And I think Washington deserves it. Congratulations to Washington for finishing strong, making the playoffs. Pretty much going to be in the top two since Georgia went out there and lost. Georgia found a way to go and lose, y'all. How they do that to Alabama. It's just Alabama got that thing on Georgia. And now one of them going to be in the playoff now. So, rightfully so. And Texas got Alabama. So the landscape is shifted, man. It's definitely, you get to see a difference in how football is played. You seen a difference in some of the rep calls. I was like, boy, that was Colorado. They would have called that not a catch, or they would have called that out of bounds. And, a lot of people say, oh, that's just the Pac-12, maybe to an extent. But like y'all saying, I've been going in on the difference between intentionality and error. Some people just ignorant, and some people just vile. And we seen some violence going on this year with those boys, man. When you look at other games, people say you look at other games. Do you look at other games? I played in other games. And just look at it. I played it. I've coached it. I've seen it all the way around, how people can play with them calls and throw off some stuff. Still happen to this day in high school. It happens a lot on the lower levels. And I guess it do happen in college levels too, but not so blatantly, because you got it on camera, so it's not like you can hide it. You can hide it in the backwoods down in South Georgia somewhere where ain't no cameras. Maybe they got cell phones now, but you can hide cheating and get no kind of accountability for it. But so that's just strange to me. Travis Hunter got a video out. He's showing how he caught the ball. They got shots, from him and other people on Twitter and well off, and it's like, you just real bold to go out there and do that kind of stuff and on camera. Like, I guess nothing gonna happen to me. I don't care. But I appreciate you all showing up today. Yeah, we talking about some stuff that's going on in Colorado. Come on in, settle on in. And everybody's been kind of dripping stuff. And I just want to wait to my time to come and kind of get some conversation with you all on what is happening in Colorado. Like, is it something to be concerned about? They tell us to trust the process, right? Trust the process. But what is that necessarily looking like? I don't know. But we're going to talk about it. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate y'all coming out. I still have my sponsors here. Just want to give a shout out to, we still got the Tanggula box, as you see scrolling at the bottom. It has helped us tremendously through the season. I don't have cable for years. I just have cared less. And maybe I got a little box, a local box, and I decided, hey, I'm going to go and watch the games. And sometimes it's just ESPN and things like that. I'm not able to catch the game. Plus, that's on not my main TV. I real out there for the kids. So this Tanggula box is going a long way, helping me catch the games, especially this season, talking about it with y'all and them Pac-12 games. It go a long way. Plus all the other benefits with the live channels for other stuff, the movies, almost 100,000 movies. So y'all make sure y'all check that out. Go ahead and hit that 404-500-8451 cable cutter. Go ahead and test that. Take advantage of that. I'm willing, my people, I throw 50 off, especially during this holiday season. I use it. Some other people on this channel use it. They can testify to it because they was able to use it as well. Also, I have a brand new sponsor I have to give a shout out to. Now, I want, for the record, this is one of my sponsors that I'm really excited about, especially in this day and time with the way the economy is and, the recession and debt, especially after COVID. A lot of people had credit card debt. A lot of people, I'm in the mortgage space, and a lot of people try to buy houses and their debt to income ratio is just thrown off because of how they dealt with their debt. I actually have a program that was introduced to me as my sponsor here that can help people pay off all debt without refinancing, without people say paying extra, none of that. It's an actual program to show people how to pay off their debt 5 to 10 years, including a mortgage, all debt, actually lower the interest rate. Y'all check that out, debtconverter.com. Got a little free ebook there, videos and all that. So check that out. But with that being said, Colorado's been going through a lot over the last few days, really last couple of weeks, but we seen a lot come out, and some of that negative momentum is causing people to kind of get shaken. And I'm not going to sit here and say, trust the process, it's all part of the plan. I don't know how much of it is part of the plan and how much isn't part of the plan, but I do know that some things may have been expected, and I think a lot is still to come. We're starting to see, for example, it started off with the decommits as the season kind of went towards the end, and coaching changes started coming about, and people start feeling like, okay, maybe that guy who recruited them is moving on. We see that Sean Lewis has went on over to San Diego and San Diego State, and I guess a decent G5 program, but a lot of those boys who he was recruiting as a recruiter before coming to Colorado and why he's at Colorado, of course they typically move with the guy they have a relationship with, who gave them the promises, because if he gone, it's not necessarily promise that the new offense coordinator going to fulfill it. So that's just natural for people to go with the coach who recruited them. And what we're seeing is, quarterbacks, one or D lineman quarterback that he was working with, offensive line coach or boy was working with, and he's more likely going with them. These kids left, so we starting to see that trickle. And then we see Antoine Hill. We saw Watkins before that, and we starting to see some things shift. And I think what's coming out is some of the expectations as far as who coming in, who going out is starting to hit a certain way. So, my guy say it's time for a change. It's definitely time for a change, because with that, we also see some current players who a lot of people complained about starting to hit that portal, which we expected. Some expected, none expected. And this thing gonna be a ride. That's why we know we here, because this ride is gonna continue. You know, we saw, I think the first one may have been Ham. Ham hit it, and Ham was one of those linebackers who we complained about. There's not too many of them linebackers that I really can say that you need to keep around. Something drastic got to happen. I mean, they just didn't get better as a unit. That's why the defense in the running game never really was consistent or just was really strong. I think the D line stepped up at times. I think the DB's done decent at times, but that those big runs, ain't nobody at the second level. Ain't nobody playing their role. Ain't nobody doing the assignment at the second level, period. Juju came in and did some good stuff at times, and hey, it is what it is. But I don't know what happened with that. This documentary is coming out in 3 days? We're gonna see how much they really talk about in that documentary. I'm gonna tell you that. But we look at the fact that Ham is gone. Then some other people some of y'all may have wanted to go. We see Tank hit that portal this week, and then we see BB at center. A lot of people say, well, BB, maybe we would have kept him. Maybe not. So a couple of these guys were already there. Those are some of the original Colorado guys. And, it is what it is. They wasn't necessarily something to lose. So I guess my question would be, is it something that we should expect to happen for a lot of those guys who was already there? Is it something that they knew was coming? Maybe they're telling us they know what's coming. If the lineman is leaving, Yeah, Coach Prime called them out. Yeah, Coach Prime made some comments people say he shouldn't have made. Were they really bothered by that? Because that's a problem because he said that a long time ago. They was harvesting that kind of feeling. No wonder they wasn't blocking for Shador, and then he got this weird blocking for Staub at the end. Nobody still can answer that. But is that telling them they know somebody's coming to replace them, or are they just ready to leave? Because you see linemen leave like that at one time. It's kind of like last year. Do they know what's coming? Or are they just kind of guessing, okay, I know I ain't going to be here if somebody's coming. Maybe this situation is just not the type of environment I need to be in. I don't know. But from what we see coming, we know that the coaches is primarily focused on the line, defense and offense. We know that's the focus. We don't know what's behind the scenes. We don't know what's coming, but something's coming. It has to come because them linemen just hit the portal and they were starters. Now, do we want them necessarily? That would be scary if we had to keep the same line that we struggled with. But so with that, I'm wondering, is that also coming from Bailey, who came with the coach? Can he leave? They just came. That's a weird situation. Bailey and Washington just came, which kind of makes you question, were they really planning on their coach leaving in a year? Now, Washington may be acceptable to come back. I know he played injured, but can they really leave? Can they really leave at this point? I don't know. I don't know the situation. I don't know that if they got able to graduate. I don't know they have to wait till they graduate. That's a weird thing because they have to wait to graduate and do like Shallow and wait till the summer. They can't go in the spring to join their coach in San Diego State. But do they want to stay here? I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be a weird space for anybody to stay here with Coach Prime and Shador, especially the new linemen come in. It's gonna be awkward, and we don't. With the new team and new coaches and everything, do you really want more awkwardness? When this team biggest issue is gelling and working together, do you really want to see awkwardness? Do you really want to see awkwardness? Can you afford it? I mean, because this is supposed to be the year that you're building upon something. Now, my question is, are they going to be able to build on something? I think that's going to be highly dependent on how many people actually stay. Because the way it's looking, I don't know how much Coach Prime them expect to leave. I certainly don't know how much people looking in expect to leave. But where is the line drawn? Like, how many can you expect to leave before it's too much? What is the line? Like, how many players do we expect to leave? And then how many do leave before you start to get concerned? Like, okay, you expect them to start him right now because it's portal time. Do you expect 10, 20, 30? Like, where does it get to the point where you start to feel concerned? Especially in proportion to how many coming in. Because this is what I'm looking at. On the other end, we got the decommits that we seen. A lot of those was 2025, whatever. 2024s wasn't really big time people. And they really were more so attached to the offensive coordinator going out, which we haven't named, but I could expect you would have to name your offensive coordinator. They've been working on it, and I would expect they would have to announce it this week because the portal about open. It's like everybody has to start announcing their coaches because you can't recruit without having some solid. So I expect that to probably be announced first thing this week. And a lot of people, like somebody just said here, Coach Prime he's a marketing machine, right? It's a lot of guys. It's a lot of guys that's coming that they're gonna be. They haven't announced it. Let's put it like that. So we don't know everybody who's coming because some of them are already locked in. They haven't announced it yet. I wouldn't be surprised, like the guys say, he's a sports fan. He's a marketing machine that he's going to release the information when it's best beneficial for him. So he's going to hit the media hard probably this week. I hear he's going to be like he was just on at the Dallas game, at the Thursday night game. I hear he's going to be, on I think the data portal open. I think he's going to be on Good Morning America. I mean, he's really going to go on a publicity run, right in time for this portal. He's releasing his documentary, the Coach Prime documentary, right when the portal opens, and then it's going to drip for about a month. He's going to drip that thing all the way into the college playoff. So he going to basically milk the spotlight anyway. Just like he was on, what was that he was on? What was that on? One of those games. Was it the Super Bowl last year? I think he was on the Super Bowl last year. I mean, he finds a way. He finds a way to be in the middle of everything. I mean, he introduced Usher for the Super Bowl. And it's like he finds a way to take that spotlight, even he's not there. He's not going to be in the college playoff, but he's going to be the talk of the whole thing because of the things that's going to be coming out in the documentary. He can control the emotion and the narrative of him. He's putting himself in a place where he's not. If he was in the college playoff, it would be good. He already has Aflac commercials running. You see Shadur and Shiloh has a Google commercial running. These guys, no matter if they winning, no matter if they are playing or not, they right there. Like they're you better say out of sight, out of mind. Their publicity is always putting them on front and center of people's mind, the talks. They got so many commercials going and been going the whole time, and they probably got more. Right. And then, like I said, the documentary is going to get him even more publicity. All the sports channels is going to be talking about it. All the sports channels are going to be talking about it. All the YouTube channels, we're going to be talking about it because it's going to be like commentary on kind of like well-off content, but on a whole new level. It's like talking about a movie, a TV show, series that's hot. Everybody's going to be talking about it. So that's only going to put him, and he's controlling what's coming out, so he can make that marketable as well. But at the same time, it's going to have to offset what's going on. For example, Nick Williams, it was rumored, it's pretty much a done deal. He's going to Syracuse. One of his former buddies who got a head coach job in Syracuse from Georgia, he's a defense coordinator. He just offered Nick Williams a promotion to be, which is pretty quick from where he come from. He could not accept that at a Power 5 level. He's gonna have on his resume defensive coordinator. He couldn't turn that down. And it's no beef. He loves Coach Prime. Coach Prime gave him this opportunity to move up. I mean, you no longer just like an analyst or a grad coach or assistant. You building your resume, and now he has people who's moving up the ladder that he has relationships with. He's benefiting from it. So now he's in position to go to Syracuse. But what kind of draw does that create? It's always been known from the time we hired Nick Williams, his biggest strength was recruiting, especially his pipeline to Georgia. So we got a lot of guys who in that pipeline to Georgia who we can see end up decommitting in the 24 class. That big class that Colorado was excited about, a lot of that stuff in Georgia had Nick Williams all over. The big promises of getting the kids out the portal, from the collapsing programs to Texas A&M's and all that, his prior relationship with Texas A&M, and he came from there, that goes with him. So I wonder how much of that will impact, how it will impact, because that was one of the strong suits of having a Nick Williams in there is whatever he does in recruiting, he's known for it. Before Colorado, that's why he was brought, not just him coaching, but so now that he's a coordinator, he has even more clout. And a lot of those guys going to follow him that's committed. A lot of those D linemen that we was excited about, I see Swain possibly decommitted. He was just excited about coming. A couple other guys in that 24 class, they might be going to Syracuse. It depends on how much they want to come to Colorado or how much Coach Prime was a component to the decision. But we know Nick Williams had the direct contact with them and the relationship with them boys. Will some of them still stay or will they go? That's going to play a lot into these next couple weeks. Because Nick Williams, I don't think it was, maybe Coach Prime knew about it, maybe for some time, because I know if his friend was applying for the head coach job, it was a possibility that it was known. I don't know how long, but I know that had to been part of a process for that coordinator to get that job. But I also think, I know it's been mentioned that Coach Flea, the running back coach, is possibly going to be leaving as well. So it won't be, and that's Coach Prime's assistant head coach. and he's been with him since Jackson State. And I'm thinking he's going to get another head coaching position. That hasn't came out yet. We knew Sean Williams was going, Sean Lewis was going, O'Boy was going with him. I don't think we knew about Nick Williams. I factored that in. Maybe some people did, but that's come out. Then it's gonna be like it's the timing of all this stuff. So all this stuff is hidden, and then you start looking at, the haters just like, what's going on with Colorado? What's happening in Colorado? That's what we talking about. What's happening? Like, is the Louis luggage leaving? Is it turmoil behind the scenes? All that is thrown out, whether it's true or not. And what we run into is, well, I guess we just have to find out. And again, him having that documentary, he can definitely leverage that documentary to confront a lot of these things in a way where it's squashed, because it's happening in the media. Challenging the media has that power because you had a platform and people are going to be talking about it, versus you talking about it and it don't get back to everybody who heard it through the media, because word of mouth may not be as strong as 5 million people seeing it in a short period of time on Twitter or whatever, because it's like they're getting major publicity for decommits from class of 2025, like millions. It's like that's unheard of, but it just shows how people are really watching this program, looking for the drama, and a lot of people looking for Coach Prime to fail. Now it makes you say, why they want him to fail so bad? Like, what did he do to them? I don't know. I don't like his attitude. I don't like his personality. We've seen that before. We see so many people say they don't like him. They want to see him fail. He's so cocky. He wear jewelry. He's materialistic. Probably the same stuff they do. Like, they just hate to see the mirror. Because I know I'm not worried about what he can wear jewelry. I don't wear it. That ain't, so that don't bother me. But I know that a lot of people, maybe from Jackson State, from the HBCU, holding a beef on him because he left. He left without fulfilling his promise. He used God and whatever the terms he used. And I don't know. I mean, because I know when I was watching the whole thing, it's like, a lot of people may say, he said he's staying with God sent him, and he got the message, and he gonna level the playing field, and he didn't do it. But I mean, he did a lot in that short period of time. I don't know how much more he could have done, especially with, he started to get a lot of resistance. He started to get a lot of people who felt like he didn't belong. That's where the Who Is Sweat came in. He started to get a lot of people who was starting to be jealous of him and his team, because they were beating the mess out of everybody because they had so much more talent. And what the cameras and the flexing, they started to get kind of angry about that. It might have started look like they're gonna start targeting him and his team. And he always is gonna be limited on no matter how you put it. Certain players just weren't gonna be willing to go there because you couldn't pay them with the NIL, didn't have the facilities, and it's like, why would I drive a plucker when I can drive a Lamborghini? It always gonna have that. So he knew, he had to know, he was limited on the type of people he was gonna be able to draw. That little media spill is only so much until you get there and you lack those resources that you turned down. You always gonna transfer up out there. So I don't know, unless he was gonna be able to get that money and upgrade himself, which means he ultimately would have had to upgrade up out of the SWAC, which was gonna be a problem with the history and the tradition of that school. He wasn't gonna be able to do nothing there. So a lot of people just angry at that. And then some people just, I don't know. Maybe they say he can't coach. I see people say he can't coach. I don't know if I can say he can't coach. Now, I don't know why he wouldn't be able to coach. I mean, he played ball his whole life. He played at a whole nother level. He was an analyst. He's a very detailed guy. He's a very structured guy. I don't know how, I don't know how much he could have done as a coach, especially when you got 100 other coaches and you paying them. I don't know how you would pay all this money to these coaches who have all this experience and still micromanage them. I don't know why he would do that. I don't think that would make sense. I don't think I'll pay you that kind of money to do your job. Like, that's your job. If you're an offensive coordinator, that's your job. You're a defensive coordinator. That's your job. Why should I have to call plays over you? I paid you to do it. That's your focus. I'm focused on the overall structure of this team and the brand of this team. It's like if I'm a school principal, it's not my job to come in there and teach the classes. I hired the teachers and I fire them. But it's not my job to come in there and teach the class. When I got to deal with what's going on, why my kids failing, why I'm getting these complaints. But I just can't drop my job for this one class or this one grade. I still got to do these other things. So I understand why Coach Prime is not micromanaging, and I understand why people question him. He's not proven. He hasn't been, because typically when somebody be a head coach, like you see with the guy going from Georgia to Syracuse, you see a guy who worked his way up like a typical career. He worked his way up. He became offensive coordinator. He became a defense coordinator. Maybe started off as assistant, special team. He worked his way up. So he's shown what you want to see in a typical corporate structure. Coach Prime jumped in as a head coach. So that ruffled a lot of people's feathers. That ruffled a lot of coaches' feathers. And, and then you have this guy come in and go and do 2 years or 2.5, however you want to see it, at a HBCU lower level school and jump straight into Power 5. And people are going to be jealous because they say, you only did that because your name. You only did that because your connections. And you only did that because of what you bring. But isn't that part of it too? When you bring Nick Saban, isn't his name going to bring certain players recognition? I mean, from what he's done as a coach, but it's still a name. It's still a name. So I can't hate on his name, for doing what it did. And I don't know if I can say what I say after 1 year, because most coaches have challenges their first year because they still kind of weeding out some of the players and the mentalities that was there before them, especially they take over a losing program, which that's happened in most cases. In most cases, outside of coach getting a promotion, most people have to come into a program that's losing, or else they typically want to keep their coach. So it's a lot of things that is behind the scenes. It's a lot of things behind the scenes that I can't speak on. But hopefully, like I said in that documentary, hopefully that all that stuff come out. Hopefully, when we see the documentary, they'll take on some of those hard questions. Hopefully it's just not a glitz and glamour. Hopefully it's not just a promo. But hopefully, because typically I know that first documentary he did at Jackson State before Amazon came, when they did with Barstool, that thing was kind of raw. The last one that they did, it wasn't as raw and it was rushed. I don't know because he changed schools, but it just had an abrupt ending. And it didn't really complete the Jackson State story. And it looked more like a commercial. And maybe that's because Amazon came in. So I'm very curious on, it's going to look very theatrical because this has been a theatrical season from the beginning, very planned out, the media coming in. I mean, especially when football season starts, you're going to see a lot of stuff that's going to be definitely fit for TV. It's going to be fitting for TV. So I don't know what to expect, but I do say this. If Colorado continues to lose, if Colorado continue to lose, I don't know what he can face. I don't know. We can say if he lied because he left in 2 years, 2.5. I don't know. But I know that people will people turn on. Look at this. And that's possible, because when you get people hopes up, whether it's Colorado or Jackson State, and you don't deliver, people's anger come out, and whatever deep down issues they got come along right now with it. How they express themselves, maybe they're gonna take it out on you. Maybe they're gonna deflect on you some personal issues as well, because they've had a life of being let down. I know a lot of people at that HBCU level felt that way. Like it's almost like a savior complex. He was coming to save them. And I would hate on a bigger scale, Colorado. Hopefully they get what they want. Because I mean, how people really feel tends to come out when things get bad, like a lot of fans have done with, bandwagon fans who thought it was just gonna be sweet jumping on this right here. And it didn't turn out right. And a lot of them got mad because maybe they gambled, maybe their reputation got put on the line, and that just triggered some things. But I do know that I can see it get ugly with Colorado. They basically give him one more year. They'll give him one more year. And he won more, but they want to see something. They want to, especially with the promises. They're gonna want to see the bowl game. And it can happen. But if it don't, you really see how people really feel. If it don't happen, you'll get the chance to see how people really feel about him. And it's like how long as I get what I want. But how I really feel about you can come out if you don't deliver. I think that happened at Jackson State. I mean, I love you, because you're gonna do something for me. They say, you here to do something for me, and that's our agreement. It's what they call not contentional, but it's conditional. So when you don't fulfill that, people might turn on you. But you said this, you said that. You said you're gonna do this. Okay, you might not even see what I did because in your mind you created what you thought I meant. Maybe you felt like that. Say the schedule look easy, and that kind of go hand in hand with what you're saying right here. I don't even think that naysayers will give Prime credit. They were 9-4 winning record. It seems like nothing would be enough. I agree. I agree. I feel like if you got somebody hating on you, I mean, they gonna find something to say. If that's the case, because you got to think about it. If you say I'm gonna dominate, well, you lost 3 games. You ain't dominate. Or okay, you went to the bowl game and lost, like they said about him at the Celebration Bowl. It's like if you come up short, you come up short. I mean, like let's say they went 4-8 this year, and then next year they go 7-5, 8-4. Would that be enough? I mean, because all they're gonna do is narrow in on the games you did lose. Well, I thought he was gonna come over here and go to the championship. I thought he was gonna go to the playoff. I thought this, I thought that, because he gonna be selling it the whole time. He gonna be selling the hype. That's what he do. I mean, that's who he is. Oh, we coming, we coming. That's how he sell out the arenas. Who else doing it? Every game, mass amount people watching the games because he sold a product. Did they deliver? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. They didn't necessarily deliver. Will they deliver? Time will tell. Because a lot of it's gonna have to do with this off season. Is it gonna be some departures that you didn't plan for or that we didn't expect? Is it gonna be a not as expected portal class? All right, when Nick Williams leave, you know, would that impact this class that these D linemen that was gonna be coming? Because definitely got to hurry up and call who's gonna be the D lineman. If Sir Warren Sapp officially make that happen, maybe that'll help something. Some people who say I'm going to Nick Williams, but I can't go with him over Warren Sapp. Something to balance this out because he is your recruiter. Right. So right. Okay, y'all did win, but y'all didn't win it all. Ha ha. If I really want to get at you, I mean it's like childish Jones. If I really want to get at you, you know, you won, but you didn't play nobody. I mean, it's already set up. Oh, that's an easy schedule. I'm already hearing people say that. So it's like, Don, if you go lose, look at that. Yeah, you lost. You lost this easy schedule. Right. And then they turn around and say, well, you lost it to Kansas. You lost to Texas Tech. Kind of like Texas Tech almost beat Oregon this year, and they played them at home. because Oregon really lost the Texas Tech, and they had some weird stuff happening and some missed opportunities. They kind of dropped the ball, but Oregon, when Oregon almost lost, nobody said, "Oh, Oregon almost lost Texas Tech." Nobody said Texas Tech was sorry. Nobody said that. Nobody said you almost lost Texas Tech. They like in the middle of the conference in the Big 12. They're not like the top. They're not in the championship game. Nobody gave Oregon that slack. But when Colorado barely beats a Arizona State, even though a couple of other big dogs Washington barely beat Arizona State, you didn't really hear that. You didn't really hear that. You didn't really hear nobody watering it down. When when you had Stanford beating the Mets, Stanford gave a couple teams a run for their money, right? The games you did win, oh, TCU, oh, they're not as good. They're supposed to have been ranked when you beat them. You know, you go beat them at home. Nobody expected. Oh, that's just not the same TCU. Duh, we said that before. But y'all, if they had beat them, you wouldn't have said that. You beat a TCU, and everybody said that wasn't good enough. That's just TCU ain't. I mean, that's they're nobody. And then you looking for a self-fulfilling prophecy to say, okay, look at their record the rest of the year, which they did decent up, and then they kind of went downhill. Right? Then they go and beat Nebraska. Everybody said, oh, definitely gonna beat Nebraska. They beat Nebraska pretty convincingly, and that really just stirred up the circus, right? And then you say, well, Nebraska ain't that good, which they were still good for that time frame, and then they kind of fell off later. So then they beat Colorado State. Oh, but you barely beat them. They're G5. Not the fact that they was cheap shot, getting all kinds of calls on their side, not getting calls. They knocked out Travis Hunter. Nobody factored none of that in. They played at midnight the first time, it was a lot of factors, right? But you just didn't really, you really didn't give them credit for the win. So I actually created a video way back when I was talking about, I felt like, and a lot of people complained about it. Go back and check the video. I forget the name of it. But I did a video about the reason why I felt like Colorado lost to Stanford after all of that, because I felt like it was drained. I felt like they felt like doing if I do, doing if I don't. If I win the game, I just barely beat Stanford. And you just said that about me with Colorado State. And they said you think they want to lose? I didn't say they wanted to lose. I'm saying the effort they needed, it was just they were drained. And it really spitting because the rest of the season, they kind of just went down the drain. It just kind of went down the drain. And I feel like they kind of like lackadaisically finished that game. Like, I don't think they expected to lose, but I think mentally, you don't care. You're in the wrong mental. And I feel like that attitude went on. That attitude went on through the rest of the season. It's like, I bust my butt to win these tight games. Refs put us in this tight situation. They calling back stuff. They calling all these penalties on us. They ain't calling what they doing on us. And it's just, man, I'm tired of it. And then it's like, and we win, and we still talk like we lost. Even Coach Prime said, I'm tired of winning and feel like losing. He said that in the first 4 games. And it's like, he talked like we win, and it's still like negative. They didn't really celebrate those wins. And to the point they ain't getting no more wins. It's like, what's the point of winning? It's like I'm losing anyway. The media dogging me out. My coach is dogging me out. The line still ain't blocking. Shador still ain't winning all the games. Nobody is. That's a hard way to play a game, man. So it's like, well, you lose, and it's like, what's really the difference other than your record? You tired of winning and feel like you're losing. And you seen that energy. You seen that energy. So I'm wondering, how do you get that out? Okay, you didn't lose as much, but that losing spirit clearly was still there. That losing mentality still was there, to the point where they were winning and feeling like losing. Those issues still was there to the point it finally like came to a head and they became a losing team. They finally became a losing team. It's like people said they ain't really that good. They finally became really that good. They ain't gonna win before games. They jumped out there before games, and then they fulfilled that thing. They played like a team who felt like they were gonna lose, and boom, they lived that thing out. And it's like, I think that's bigger than anything. So maybe some players do need to go. That's gonna take that with them, especially ones who wasn't there or who was there before. I don't know, because if that don't go, if that anytime the game get tight, you know what this means. You know how this gonna go. You know, you had that attitude versus that fight. Here we go again. We know what the media gonna say. We know what Coach Prime gonna say in the conference after the game. When you living like that, man, you can't even enjoy. You can't even enjoy winning. And it's like an extended season don't help you. Like, could you imagine an extended season right now? Let's say a bowl game. These players want to hit the portal and they still there. Coach gonna be gone. Offense coordinator gone. They already have moved him. Nick Williams wasn't gonna be there. That's the D-line coach. Could you imagine them trying to play a bowl game right now? It reminds me a lot of the Celebration Bowl. People love throw the Celebration Bowl up just to be a hater, but do you realize what kind of situation they was in that last year this time Celebration Bowl? The coach had accepted a job to another school. The players who were there felt not necessarily only betrayed, but they were like, "What is my future?" To the point where they was ready to jump in the portal. A lot of them immediately because they didn't come to play for Jackson State. They came to play for him. Let's be real. And what all they benefited from him. Then you got to look at the fact that they're like, "Well, darn, let me hurry up and get mine. I don't want to be in the back of the line and miss my opportunity." He know where he going. Some of them was mad. Some of them was offended. Some of them like everybody can't follow him. He don't want everybody to follow him. It was all that going on. They had a lot of their D linemen hit the portal and didn't even play in the game. It was short. It was a lot of talk around it all over the place, on the campus, in the school, you know. And then the media was putting all that on it, and you trying to get ready to play the celebration. How you expect these guys to really perform? They know their quarterback leaving. They start. It's like it's division in the play. Y'all was down for us. Y'all just gonna leave. Y'all know where y'all going. Y'all going to better. And that's some jealousy pop up. You talking about jealousy? You going to go play D1? I love my D1. I love my D1 to come here to do this HBCU thing. That's why you see a lot of them left, especially those D1 caliber players. A lot of these guys, man. Of course, we don't hear everything. A lot of them guys, a lot of that energy. It's just they went all the way down mentally. You talking about they were out coached? They were just as nonchalant. I was at the game. I really was beating the mess out of the other team. They just kind of like it's almost like kind of like what I just said. Even if we win, we lose. What do we got? We're gonna fight hard to win for what? Our coach gonna jump on a jet as soon as the game over. He ain't even going back with the team and our quarterback. Go straight in there to talk about the Louis bags. Imagine that. He ain't even going back. His stuff already been packed and delivered the way he going. He ain't coming back. He don't came back to finish this, and he ain't never coming back again. Imagine that's how you end your game. They crying in the locker room for the game. It's all that emotion. They ain't worrying about rah, rah, rah. Fight for the team. Fight for JSU. We go do it for the swag. They ain't thinking about that. They had a lot of heaviness on their heart. Players not there. Coach gonna be gone. They gotta resolve that. It's their last hurrah. It's like dying on the hill. How you win and die on the hill at the same time? You know your team never gonna be the same. Never gonna be the same. Your team never gonna be the same. That's a lot. And you play a double overtime game, and you just at some point, man, you say, "What are we fighting for?" Don't act like y'all ain't never lived that life. Don't act like you ain't never lived that life. Coach said some stuff in the press, maybe he shouldn't say, but I guarantee there's a lot of stuff that he didn't say behind the scenes. So don't act like he is spilling the beans. I know there's a lot of stuff that he didn't say. It's a lot of things that he didn't say. So at the end of the day, I think time is going to tell what his team going forward. And they definitely going to have to play as a team this go around. With all these transfer guys coming in, trying to get to the NFL, I'm doing for me. They got to learn how to play as a team to beat a team. You're right. Because I feel like Smoke said, I feel like they were selfish. I feel like they were selfish. I feel like you attracted selfish people. I feel like you bring a bunch of guys in, and they pretty much the majority of the team. Most of the guys who originally there gone, and they know they're not gonna be there long, and their only goal is I'm gonna feed my family. I'm gonna feed my family. I'm gonna make the league. A lot of them ain't gonna make the league. That's their focus. Their focus is not I do what I got to do for my team to win. And you would think that would make them work harder, study harder, so it benefit the team. Not necessarily the case, and it definitely don't help the team jail because your team got to jail when you're going through stuff. You got to be a jail team because if you're not jail, you will turn on each other. If your team is not jail, you will turn on each other because you don't know each other. You don't respect each other. You don't trust each other. And when times get hard, it's going to expose your unity and lack thereof. And that's ultimately when you really need. It's really going to show how much of a team you are, and that's going to be the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge is going to be I'm bringing all these guys in. They hit one and out guys. These I want one more year to get the spotlight. I played D1. I started, and I'm gonna bring these caliber guys in. They there for self. They not there to help Colorado. They there for self. They don't did their 4 years at Florida State. Gonna do this last year because they don't got their film. They just gonna get the scouts and the hype. This go around and the connections from Coach Prime and the well off to top it all off. They not there for a team, and that's a scary thing because I mean, you don't been somewhere for 4 years. You ain't trying to come in and emotionally connect with a whole another group of people. That's just being real. It can have this cycle can repeat itself. I also feel like I said if the referees be out there acting like that and doing this bogus stuff and calling stuff they know they have absolutely no reason, no right to be calling, like way outside the scope of football. And you know better. Y'all know better. If they continue to do that, man. So those are issues I see. These refs continue to doggone got here with this whole good old boy sabotaging the game, put Coach Prime in his place and sabotage these players type crap. And if these boys go out here and don't play as a team and got some hidden drama that's hidden, maybe come out in a documentary or something or not. And if they don't go and do these things, man, it's going to expose itself because you say they got an easy schedule. Ain't no easy schedule. I mean, if you go out there with the nonsense, you see what happened. Stanford will come back on you. Arizona State give you a hard time. These ain't the top tier teams. These are the bottom. So you go over there in that Big 12 and go play in Kansas State. They're gonna play you like a Oregon, like a Washington. You go over there, it's Texas Tech. They're gonna put you in your place. Baylor, they'll put you in your place. There ain't no top tier names, but go playing with them if you want to. Go playing with them if you want to. Go out there and play around with Oregon State, who just played in the championship game against Texas. See, Texas is a top tier program. They've been a top tier program. They've been SEC caliber. I don't know what they're gonna do over the SEC. Texas and Oklahoma's been top tier programs. Big linemen, They pass the eye test every year, whether they make it to the championship or not. But they pass the eye test. They dominate in their conference. They win a game. You can sneak them every now and then, but they play. They might lose 2 or 3 games at most. That conference, is not necessarily weak. You can't be as dominant as they were. That's why they leave. But the rest of them, they fight for scraps. Then I think you added Arizona and Utah now, and you see what they did to you. I mean, Utah, I don't know. Utah hype, man. Utah, they're a true G5 team. They snuck in the power Pac-12. They did what they did. I don't really think Utah all that. I think Utah was overhyped. I think Utah is kind of really on the level of like a Tulane to me. This is me. I don't think they they had a good couple years, had a quarterback that's been playing that forever. And I don't think Utah that strong. They got a lot of hype. Even they hyped up the game that Colorado really beat the mess out of Utah, and they cheated their butts off. And they had this they create stories and they make this thing all scripted. They had that thing laid out. Utah won't hit on nothing. They is nothing, man. They really is a G5 from what I see. They not nothing great. So they can go in there and do their thing, but with all these issues, man, and not being real, you got to face that thing. They got some issues. They need to deal with it. Quit acting like it ain't an issue because it's come to light because there's too much eyeballs on it. If it's an issue with these players, if people watching they every move, they hit that portal, they watching, they ready to interview them, they ready to bring the story out. These players gonna tell it. These families gonna tell it. They got too many people on YouTube ready to interview them, social media. I mean, these people ready to let this stuff out. You got to deal with this mess because these people gonna tell it, man. Said the show start tomorrow. I thought it started on the 6th. But hey, the show definitely gonna be started. There's gonna be some talk. There's gonna be some talk starting tomorrow. Like I said, I expect the OC start. They'll be announced in the day now. We'll have to get a new D lineman, everything. So y'all, we gonna ride this thing out. Make sure y'all like, share, make sure y'all subscribe, make sure y'all following, because I just wanted to pop in and talk to y'all. We talk every week after the season, after the game during the season, and of course the season is over. But make sure y'all on board because when things hit, I'm gonna come out. We definitely gonna have a chance to talk about it. I know y'all go to other platforms, things like that, but make sure y'all here. We're gonna hit it a different way. Like, share, subscribe. Go ahead and check out our sponsors. Be in the description. And y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday. Greg said it, and I'm out. Y'all enjoy.